What is up, makers? My name is Mikey. This is my lab. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below to make sure you stay up to date with all the content that we produce here in the lab. I know, I hear you. I disappeared. I'm sorry. There's reasons. And that's what this video is about. So, shortly after I posted the first in the Intro to C++ for Microcontrollers series, I had a bunch of bad things happen, which kind of threw me for a loop. Good news is I'm back. My head's back into a space where I need to be able to produce this content, and that's awesome. The first thing that happened, I don't know if I mentioned it on this channel, was my wife and I have had a cat for 17 years, I think. Because I adopted Trainer the year before we got married. And he passed away, he passed away from cancer. And he didn't tell me there was anything wrong until it was too late. But the last couple of days / week of his life gave me kind of a heads up of something else that was coming up shortly that we'll talk about in a moment. After 16, 17 years with an animal, they become your fur baby. They become a member of your family. Some people won't understand that, and I don't understand those people. But yeah, so I took a few days off of work, and a couple of people at work didn't understand it, but that's what that is. Then the good news, I was offered a new job. I am now a senior software engineer with a major automotive manufacturer. This obviously came with a substantial pay raise, which was kind of nice, but it also meant that I'm going through changing jobs, and I tend to stay in a job for 10 years before I don't move until somebody makes me. I don't like the change. I don't like walking into a place where I don't know what the environment's going to be like. I don't know if I'm going to mesh with the team. I don't know everything already. So that made me uncomfortable. A good uncomfortable, don't get me wrong, but uncomfortable. And yeah, so I was going through that. I was going through imposter syndrome, which was totally unwarranted. Right? My boss was right. My boss was, he told me that the skill set that I have was more than what I needed to perform where I am. I almost said the name. To perform where I am, and yeah, now that I've been there 2 months, I agree. Right, I seem to fit in quite well. I like the team. I like the people I'm working with. It's awesome. And 2 days after I started the new job, my father died. Yeah, you probably heard me speak on channel that a close family member, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Well, that was my father. So I had finally started to get over the loss of my cat to cancer. I had the high of the new success in my professional life, and then my father passed away. Needless to say, this threw my brain for a little twist. I didn't stop making because making is what allows me to get out of times when my brain is in a state that's not the healthiest. I just couldn't bring myself to film, and I couldn't bring myself to be on camera. So I apologize. I am about halfway through creating the next episode for Introduction to Microcontrollers. Good news is, this pause allowed me to learn new skills, which is going to make these video series even better. You'll see when it comes out, hopefully in the next week or so. I'm hoping for next weekend. All right, other news. On a slightly happier front, I'm going to go ahead and bring you with me for 1 second. We have a new project starting in the lab. One of the things, if you've been with the lab for a while, you know, I don't like throwing anything away, and I believe tools tell a story. So I managed to acquire this guy. This is probably a 5 or 6 year old 3D printer. It's made by a company in Cambridge, Ontario, which is remarkably near me. It's the Ord MH3000 R1, for those who are familiar with it. It is a 5-axis water-cooled 3D printer. And what the water-cooled means is that each of the heating blocks can be at a different temperature. So it can be a different filament. It doesn't have to be all PLA, just different colors. I can do TPU and PLA mixed together, PETG, PLA. Yeah, this was an awesome printer in its day, but its control board is based off of an Arduino from back in the day. Whoever last had this filled the liquid cooling with actual water. So while I think it'll work, I'm not going to chance it. I'm going to drain it and fill it with liquid cooling solution for a PC. I know that it doesn't conduct electricity, and if it ever leaks, I'm not going to fry anything. If you look, you can see it's dirty. It's been sitting for a while. It runs off of an old PC power supply. We're changing that. About a Meanwhile power supply. So yeah, a couple series of videos, probably 5 or 6 videos, will be bringing this guy up to a modern standard and getting it working again. You can see I have a bunch of big Createch TMC 2209s, which will plug into the big Createch GTR version 1 with the M5 expansion to give me enough control to run 5 extruders plus the XYZ that we normally have. So yeah, that'll be a big project. The first video coming up will be me actually just tearing down this thing so I can clean everything and lubricate everything. The other piece of news I have for you guys, good news. I've acquired some studio space inside of a makerspace that I am part of. I don't currently have access to it because COVID's a thing. I'm in Ontario and we're locked down. Good news with that, we've dropped from 4,700 infections a day to just over 3,000 now. We're still nowhere near the 1,000 we were at when we started to open stuff up, but I'm hoping that it's only going to be another month or so before we have these infections under control. And then I can get into the studio. It still feels weird to say that I have a studio. But again, it's in the middle of the makerspace, so every time I want to use one of the tools at the makerspace right now, I bring camera gear with me, and I hope I get what I need, which is kind of a pain. It would be good to be able to grab gear from the studio, go out onto the makerspace, and film the laser when I need to, and make sure that I have all of the footage that I need from the laser. It'd be good to have an area that's a little more clean than where I am right now. It'll also be good for mental health for me, I think, too, to separate where I'm working right now. While we're in lockdown, we're obviously all working from home. So I'm working from here. My brain knows this place is the place that we do projects. So when I walk into this place, it wants to do projects. This is, not ideal. So hopefully I can spin off most of the Mikey's Lab stuff and reboot the Engineering ADHD channel and get that all done in the studio, which should be available to me June 1st, is the current theory. But we'll see how COVID's going, because this is a dangerous time. But most people that I know are getting vaccinated, so it shouldn't be too much longer. Either way, this was just a quick update on the channel. You probably have also noticed that I spent some money on new filming gear. I've spent some money on new audio gear because I'm sick and tired of bad quality stuff and trying to fight it and dealing with it in post. The significant increase with my new job kind of helped with that. So if you like the new sound, if you like how everything's coming across, if it sounds better than it did before, if the image is better than it was before, let me know. And I'll continue to try and make improvements. Anyway, thank you for joining me in the lab. I hope you learned something today, and we will speak again soon.